Minister Ibrahim Patel, Minister Lindy Zulu, Deputy Minister Mashiko Dlamini, Deputy Minister Botus, former Minister Trevor Manuel, members of Parliament, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador Poko, Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, our Director General, Mohai, the Deputy Directors General, senior officials of embassies in South Africa, distinguished guests accompanying their excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, bonjour, sanbonani, bon dia, assalamu alaikum. I would like to begin by thanking you all for accepting our invitation and attending this breakfast. We didn't plan the weather by any stretch of the imagination, but rain on our continent is always a blessing, and so this event is blessed. I sincerely look forward to working closely with all of you and to continue strengthening the strong bonds of friendship that were built by my predecessors, particularly Minister Sisulu and her team. My remarks this morning are primarily introductory, as I think we will have the opportunity for me to present a definitive statement at my budget vote debate in mid-July. So since I don't wish to bore you on that date, if you listen in or attend, I won't traverse the ground I intend to traverse on that occasion, and thus my remarks will be brief. The assignment of serving as the President's Minister of International Relations and Cooperation is both a privilege and a daunting challenge. When one thinks of luminaries such as Alfred Nzo, such as Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, such as the erudite Aziz Pahad, one becomes nervous at this assignment. I hope to respond successfully to all these challenges that we will confront with your esteemed help and support. I come into this office at a time when I believe seismic challenges continue to face world leaders. All of us are called upon to develop effective responses to the dynamic changes that straddle domestic, regional, and global domains. So as ambassadors and us as the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, we have an extremely important role to play in ensuring that we overcome these seismic challenges. We have to ensure that women enjoy equality, that children have access to education and opportunity, that populations do not suffer from civil conflict or indeed cross-border conflict, that communities do not experience hunger, that those who do not enjoy freedom finally get it, that those who do not have territory finally get land, that those whose circumstance is dismal is changed. It is through work of practitioners and professionals such as yourselves that such objectives are achieved. I know that I can rely on all of you to work closely with my department to advance the international relations goals of South Africa, SADC, and our entire continent of beloved Africa. Our Deputy Minister has referred to these objectives as key to the President's goals as articulated in his State of the Nation address. I believe we can rely on you because, after all, we enjoy freedom today due in large measure to the support many of you gave us during our hard-fought struggle for freedom. The collaboration we secured then, the single-minded determination aimed at defeating apartheid, is required even more as we confront the issues of ensuring increased African prosperity and development, at ensuring the education and skilling of our youth populations, at ensuring the entrenching of equality for women, the creation of sustainable, inclusive democracies, and respect for diversity and inclusion globally. I believe South Africa, though such a young democracy, stands as somewhat of an example of an unusual world courage that perhaps some of us should seek to emulate. I'm always intrigued by the fact that in the midst of confronting the most severe form of oppression and racism, the people of South Africa came together in 1955, in this very month of June, on the 26th of June, in fact, and coming out of that oppression, began their statement of freedom by saying, South Africa belongs to all who live in it. You would think that, having experienced the kind of discrimination and racism that had been their experience for decades, that they would have said something vastly different. So this matter of unity in diversity is absolutely imperative to us as South Africans, and we believe that we can, through attempting to make this a reality, serve as a useful example to the rest of the world. And we truly believe that diversity is a strength, that diversity can cement freedom, that diversity can allow common purpose. I was really thrilled as I listened to our president set out his government's priorities 2 nights ago. I believe it is our task as the Department of International Relations and Cooperation to contribute to the president making practical reality out of the tasks he referred to. And I believe in particular that he has mandated our department to ensure that we give concrete attention to realizable goals and programs that reflect the ambitions of Agenda 2063 for the continent of Africa. We as Dirco are convinced that our focus must consistently be our priorities, that action to advance the development of the African continent, to provide support for advancing human rights, to ensure support for the promotion of respectful, cooperative relations between nations, and also ensuring active participation in achieving the peaceful resolution of conflicts and support for measures to achieve increased, robust, and inclusive economic development, that these aims shape what we should lend our strength and our resources to. These are, of course, tough aspirations in a world that seems determined to be fractured and tense. I am certain that you, my dear excellencies present here this morning, share these noble ambitions of Dirco. And while I know that we may not succeed in all of them, I am truly honored that I've been charged by our president to work closely with you to really make an effort at trying to achieve these ideals. And I sincerely look forward to working with you to get your support in achieving as many of them as possible. I now should conclude by saying that I have indicated to the President that as a rather keen debater, I did not develop the art of diplomacy. So if at any point I offend, do take it that I've always been a bit of a fighter and that it was not my intention at all not to observe protocol. It is something that I will learn as I go along, but where I feel that protocol may come into being a barrier to advancing goals, I'm afraid I may leave protocol behind. And I hope that in all cases you will forgive me. So let me conclude by thanking you all for being here. I've always seen this advert on television about South Africa having a large number, the second largest number of embassies outside of Washington. Well, we delayed this morning because I saw that reality at last. Thank you again for being here, and I hope you enjoy the breakfast.